All right. Welcome everyone to the live stream. We are looking at EU, Euro, US dollar for today. Shorts. Why I'm looking for shorts? Well, because we have so many inducements for buyers, right? We have price in this 4-hour support. From this 4-hour support, we have structure stepping up. Overall bearish, I know, but internal structure shows us something different. Well, what does it show? Well, price comes into this daily demand after touching the major support, does a bullish break of structure, price steps into another 1-hour demand. Now it's waiting for price to take out early sellers, induce more buyers. I mean, that's the most important thing here. And yeah, from then onwards, we're going to look for shorts targeting all that liquidity that's resting over here. We even have an area of support over here as well. So there's a huge ass liquidity down below, and I see price, yeah, potentially going lower. Looking at GBP USD is respecting this supply, which has liquidity above this trend line. So I'm not interested in selling GBP USD. I rather would buy it if I'm being honest, but it's not in line with what the DXY is showing me. If I'm looking at EU on the hourly, I really love how it's forming, really love how it's inducing. And looking at the DXY, we see the same thing. Took out this area of support, came into top supply, has built up resistance, has built up trend line. So yeah, imagine how many sellers will enter from this area. And if everyone is entering from this area, well, obviously, what do we see? Potential longs, because yeah, the market always does the opposite. Now it's just waiting for price to go up, take out the resistances, and see if we can do another internal bullish break of structure. From then onwards, we can look to sell. We already have an inducement of sellers over here because we touched onto that trend line. Look, if I go to the lower time frames, you can see price steps into the trend line, does a bearish candle. This is where sellers will enter. They see the resistance, they see the trend line, they think, oh shit, the market is going to head down. I really want to be part of that move. But yeah, obviously we know that the market just wants to go higher to take out that liquidity. It's just too obvious. Right, looking for price to take out the liquidity, induce more buyers, and then go short. That's the key. Too many buyers are looking for longs, too many traders are looking for longs, and we always want to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. If you do what everyone else is doing, you keep on losing. Understanding liquidity is key. let's see if we can get those first trend line short sellers first. Probably we'll see a spike up coming into the resistance. This is an area where I don't want to sell from. It's just too risky in the middle of Asia, and there is still liquidity on top over here, where we do have an area of resistance as well. So what do I want to see? I want to see price stepping up, taking that liquidity, 1 minute entry confirmations to go short. GU is respecting the area, and I don't want to sell where everyone else is selling from. So yeah, loads of sellers already in on sales on GU, whilst EU had taken out that area and had broken bullish market structure. So there's a huge divergence between the two of them. Keen to see what will happen next. Yeah, we have to be patient today. It's all good. If there's no trade, that's completely fine with me as well. Yeah, to be honest, we have to be patient, wait for the sellers to be taken out, more buyers to be induced, and if that happens and when that happens, we can look for short opportunities in the market to go against all those buyers. But we have to wait and see if we can get those confirmations running up. It would be nice if the DXY comes and fills this little gap. How's it looking? Yeah, look at that. It's a nice little gap over here. What I want to see from the DXY is not only filling the gap, but also from this area of supply, because we have an area of supply over here which looks a bit trappy. I want to see a bearish break of structure over here. Then I want price to fill the gap. That would be very in line in what EU is showing us, right? Because we want EU to push up as well. That would be in line with the DXY, and then we can look for potential shorts. Let's see if we can make a nice little trend line. We have a low, another low. It's lining up with the trend line as well, depending on how long it will take, to be honest. But yeah, every third touch of a trend line is where, in this case, buyers will come in. So we need to see a sweep of those buyers. That's one thing for sure. Same goes for EU. Well, we did a little sweep on that trend line already over here. But I do believe that if you are a trend line trader and you went short from the trend line, you have your stop loss resting above this area, above this high. So we want price to grab that liquidity at least, potentially come up over here, waiting for 1 minute entry confirmations to go short. That's what I'm waiting for. If it doesn't happening, I don't really care. Yeah, I honestly don't care. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, well, we don't have a trade. That's just fine with me. I honestly couldn't care to less. We're here to make money, not only to force and take trades. It was me a few years ago, taking trades every other day. And yeah, that's just not how I want it. So, and it's also not how it works, right? It's quite simple. The more trades you take, the more you will lose, and the more inefficient you are, probably also more B quality setups, but we only want to take those A quality setups, those A plus trades. And that's what makes you profitable in the long run. If you only take those trades and you are in a challenge, for example, a challenge on your funded account, why would you force trades? Why not wait for that perfect setup to come, just execute on that trade and wait for another nice opportunity? Because if you do so, you can get funded honestly within 1 or 2 months. If you just follow your plan, stick to your rules, stick to your trading plan, only take the best trades possible, yeah, obviously you will start earning money way faster. But that's the whole thing with trading. It's hard to stick to the plan. It just is. So yeah, that's part of it. That's something you have to go through. Again, if there are any questions or if there's someone that wants me to go over any other pair, just let me know. I'm happy to help or make a short analysis. We have our alert set above the resistance over here. We'll set another one over here for if price wants to come there. GU is pushing up quite aggressively. That's interesting. It's pushing up more than EU is doing in compared to each other. Looking at this, you can see that again. If you look at structure, right? If you look at structure, we have a high, low, higher low, higher low, lower low, higher low, lower low. The price is currently now trading in that area. So imagine how many sellers are currently looking for shorts in line with the touch of the trend line, in line with the resistance. They got all the confirmations to look for shorts. And don't get me wrong, sometimes the market will give them that opportunity, will give them that trade. But very often what price does is it takes out just all those sellers, it breaks bullish from the hourly demand and starts to melt completely. So let's see if we can find that opportunity, if we can find that trade after all, after the masses are stopped out. I mean, that's the whole key here, that's the key takeaway, and that's how the game is played. You can see that the DXY is also inducing buyers because price comes into this area of what? Demand, right? It's pretty darn easy. It's pretty darn easy. We even see the DXY and then pushing down into this. Let's see. Just let's see. Again, if there are any questions, put them in the live chat. Happy to help you all. Now, again, it's just waiting. Right. Pretty slow start of the session. And look, London opens in 45 minutes from now-ish. The real London Open, what we very often see is that in the hour prior to London, the traps are built, market makers, institutions build traps, the algorithms build the traps. And that's where I like to anticipate on. And then when London opens, we see very often that real pushing into our take profit or stop loss. I mean, I don't have a 100% win rate, obviously, so I do have my losses, which is completely normal. But yeah, this stuff works like magic, and it's simple. If you really understand it and really get a hang of how other traders and other participants in the market are taking trades, honestly, if you understand it, then trading becomes a hell of a lot easier. That's for sure. That's for sure. really need to see that push up. We might only see price taking out this area and then melt down, and I will anticipate on what will happen next if that's the case. But it's very risky to go short from an area like this, because there's more liquidity to take, and very often price just wants to grab that ultimate liquidity before it's heading towards the other side. So that's why I have the tendency to really wait for the lost liquidity to be taken in order to get into the trade, right? It's so important to understand price always hunts ultimate liquidity, and sometimes it doesn't, and well, that's completely fine. No worries about that, but then again, just stick to your rules, stick to your game plan, and don't take the trade. And this is how you make money in the markets, and this is what nobody is telling you. Everyone is telling you, yeah, follow my course, in 6 months you will make profits. Well, what a nonsense, right? What a nonsense. That's not how the game is played. It takes time. It's a skill you have to craft, and on average it takes 3 to 7 years to become a trader. And that's the reality. That's the real reality here. Nobody is telling you that. No one. Till you are on it yourself and you notice, shit, this game takes time and this game is hard. And yeah, this is where most people already quit. And the key with day trading, honestly, it's very simple. Just don't quit. Stick to it. Show up every single day. Backtest, journal. It's so important, because if you do those minor disciplined things and structure that into your life, you will see that profits are starting to roll in way faster than you think. Be that a year, be that 2 years. And yes, we have some people that do it even in the Discord. We have some people that just are extraordinary in some sense, where they reach those profitability levels way sooner. But I have to be honest, that's a very, very small amount of people, a very small percentage of people that do it in way less. So yeah, that's just, some people have it. I wasn't one of them, that's for sure, right? I wasn't one of them. It took me time. It took me serious time, serious effort, and serious money to get my education done. Spent over 20K on USD on my education. And it's a lot, but if you think what the markets has to offer when you are profitable, well, obviously it's peanuts. But still, it's a lot of money, and I know for a matter of fact that lots of people doesn't have that money to spend. This is why I started my own community and my own little course, because I wanted to be acceptable and achievable for everyone, and not high amounts of money, because I don't believe that's very honest. And I think that there are so many people that need the right guidance, need solid guidance. And yeah, if you have to pay up to huge amounts of money, huge sums of money, it's for so many people it's just impossible. I have the luxury and that I have a few businesses running as well next to trading, so yeah, I could afford it. But yeah, I know for a matter of fact that most people doesn't. So that's why I made mine affordable, but still with the same knowledge. So everything I share on YouTube is obviously free. It contains loads and loads of golden nuggets, good value, and I think if you really get the hang of my videos, you can reach that profitability state, probably. But the course plus mentorship obviously is fast tracking the results. That's pretty obvious. Okay, it's pretty interesting because what do we see, right? We see GU coming for that Asian high. It's pretty close. EU is still around this area. So what we might see is that GU is coming up, potentially takes trend line, moves down. If it wants to move down, I don't know. And EU is still in this area. So we might see an early short from this area 10 pip stop loss, always the same for me. 1 to 2 risk to reward ish. This, a nice little trade. We have to see and wait. Usually this isn't the trade I take, but if I look at what GU is showing, let me see what the DXY is showing. I really want the DXY to fill that gap, even if it's for 1 pip. I want it to fill the gap. It's very important. I also want to know what gold is doing currently. Interesting. I wanna, if I would be trading gold, I would definitely look for potential longs. Where, I don't know. Wait for early buyers to be taken out. We have a trend line. We have a form of what we call resistance over here. And potentially there is a resistance support flip. So if it grabs that liquidity like this, for example, wants to break bearish potentially, then comes up, bearish push long into these highs. This is what my strategy is all about. And now you can see that, imagine, prices in the supply. We are going to do a 1 minute bearish break of structure from the supply. Imagine how many sellers will enter on shorts because they don't understand how the market runs. They simply don't understand. Look, it's already coming. It will do that 1 minute bearish break of structure. That would be, in my opinion, here. Sure, there is one here, and the real structure isn't this, but the real structure is this low to this high. But most people don't understand what structure is. They can't comprehend which structure. That's why market structure is one of the most important things to really understand, to really get a hang of it. And if you understand market structure, now you know where other participants are coming in. Call it SMC traders, market structure traders, market structure plus Fibonacci traders. We even have all those ICT traders. If you understand where the masses get in, if you understand how they are trading, you can go against them. But there is one big but. Most people think that liquidity is made for retail traders. Traders like you and me. Well, that's not true. Liquidity is made to go from banks versus banks. We are not interesting for them. And then again, most retail traders that are profitable are using prop firms, which is fugazi, it's fake money. So it's not even participating in real market effort, right? Because the trades we take is all on a demo account and not with real money. So there's literally no money to grab for those major institutions. But there are major institutions that trade support and resistance. There are banks that trade trend lines. No, not human-handed trend line of human-handed traders, but algorithms designed to take trades upon a certain strategy. And well, banks know it from each other. So what do? Well, they fight their little game against each other. And if you like to watch TV series, definitely give Billions a go. Billions is about a hedge fund and how a hedge funds make money. And you can see that they are fighting other companies. They are fighting other hedge funds, institutions and banks. And that's the reality of day trading. That's how it really works. And the moment you start to understand those certain things, the market is going to start making sense for you. And honestly, that's very powerful. That's very, very powerful. For now, we see some slow price action. I think we will get that short, definitely, just because it's inducing so many sellers over here. We might want to see first that bearish break of structure on the 5 minute. Let me see, right, that if price breaks bearish market structure over here. We have price in an area of interest over here. Then we have the resistance, we have the trend line. Imagine if price breaks bearish over here. What do you think will happen? Well, every SMC trader will look for shorts from these areas. How will a short be looking? Well, they put their short like this. This is the supply. They put it in. They put their stop loss either above here or above here. Most of them just want the highest risk to reward possible, so they will set their trade like this, expecting the market to melt. They are going with structure, so they will be targeting this low, going for a 5.5 risk to reward. Believe me, if you take trades like this, you will set yourself up for losing trades. It's that easy. This is not how the game is played. It's too easy. When things are too obvious, when things are too easy or too good to be true, it mainly is. So if we break bearish, this would be the entry for tons of them. You can check if there's already 1 minute structure stepping down. Oh yes, no. This is still the 1 minute low because this is the last low that created the last high. This is all internal structure, so we don't give a damn about this internal structure. We want to see that bearish break of structure, inducing sellers, and then take out all that other liquidity that's resting above here. This is where the real liquidity lies. Boom, liquidity. All right. So this is not a trade I would take. Never, ever. Again, if there are any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section. I'm happy to go over them and help you all, that's for sure. You can also see that GU is coming into this area. Let's see if that's a 1 area of supply. Yeah, 1 hour area of supply, as you can see. And look at this. Do you think that the market is making it this easy, right? So what we see is we have a high, we have a low, price comes in, respects that area, starting to push down, comes in, respects that area and push down. Well, let me tell you, this is not how the market runs or operates. It's just too clean. This is what we call a so-called order flow trap, supply and demand trap, whatever you want to name it. This is not how it's supposed to be. And let me show you some examples on why, right? We have the same over here, right? Comes into area, comes into an area, comes into an area. Breaks bearish structure. What happens? Right, this is the whole area. Price gives the illusion that price wants to go lower. Boom, pushes out. And this is no other different. It's the same story over here. And when you start to understand how these traps are built, if you understand how these traps are formed, trading becomes easier. And it's everywhere. Honestly, it's everywhere. So you always want to trade into the liquidity instead of out of the liquidity, right? So this is a good trade. Probably look at, this is an entry that I would take long into this area of resistance, area of supply, whatever. This is the whole supply. And that's it. It honestly is everywhere. For example, this is what we had Tuesday, right? So what happens is we have an area, see, interest over here. Right, the price is just choppy, doing nothing. But look at the details. Look at what happened. Structure was showing bearish. Let me show you. It's just too clean of structure, right? So what do we see? Price comes into supply, breaks in, comes into supply, breaks in, comes into supply, breaks bearish. Then what happens is they sweep all those traders and then the real move is happening. How clean, right? How clean. If you understand what liquidity really is and how liquidity is used, you can use it to your advantage to go against all those sellers. So either way, you buy into it or you wait for all those sellers to be taken. What happens if we take out all these sellers, right? What happens? What is this? The so-called bullish break of structure. So where will buyers go in? Look at this. Demand area. Now I want you to take a closer look at what the chart is showing you, because look what happened. Price came into that demand. Look at this wick, starting to push out, give people the illusion that price wants to go higher and then takes them all out. There is no coincidence. The markets are rigged, and the sooner you understand that the markets are rigged, the easier trading becomes. It's that easy. So this was a little lesson on liquidity. If you got questions, put them in the live chat. Hey, I'm here. Can help you guys with all these things. Up to you if you make use of it. All free information, which can be key in your day trading journey. This is not a trade I would take ever. So be aware, not going to take this trade. This is the trap. This is what we call trap. And if we break bearish market structure, it will be the SMC trap. If it doesn't break market structure, it still is the trap, because this is an area which has liquidity above. And this is how I factor in if a demand is going to hold or if the supply is going to hold or no. And if we look at EU on the higher time frame, let's say the 4 hour, what do I see? Well, the bigger story tells me that there is a 4 hour support. There even is a support over here. So we have a daily demand, an hourly demand where price is currently reacting from, but what do we have below? If there is liquidity below, it's very often not holding and will be stopped out. Not always, but in 99% of the times. So interesting, right? And people just don't understand how supply and demand works. A supply or demand only works if it takes out liquidity and then moves. And obviously most people know, but then again, most people doesn't. Okay, you can see that GU is pushing into that hourly supply, potentially wants to grab it. If GU, and this is the story, if GU takes out these highs and takes out the trend line, and EU is only taking out this resistance, I might go short from this area, because then I have all the confirmations. What is the DXY telling me? And look at this. What did we do? Bearish break structure. DXY inducing buyers. Gold supply. Let me check gold supply. I'm sorry. Gold is currently in this supply. That's true. But take a look at what structure is telling you, because yeah, structure is key here. We have a high that created a low, but look at the details. It didn't broke structure, so it's not a lower low. So is this a really supply? I don't know. It feels trappy. It feels that the market wants to push up higher. There are people that looking at structure with bodies, right? They don't understand. They think this is the break of structure because the body closure becomes lower. No, price failed to make a new low. Therefore, I truly believe that price wants to first take liquidity and then go higher. That's what I believe. I don't know for sure. I mean, I'm no fortune teller, so I honestly don't know, but that's how it looks, in my opinion. So yes, 4152. 4152. Yeah, just this whole area on the hourly is already in supply. So price is currently in supply, if that makes sense. Look, it's going to do that bearish break of structure to induce sellers. It's starting to look pretty solid, if you ask me. It's building up the trap. It's building up everything that we want to see. There we have it, bearish break of structure. And wait for price to come back in, take out all the sellers, and then we can look for a potential short trade, sorry. Gold, however, we need to check lower time frames as well. Look, what I see is if we really are going to dissect gold from the start, right? So let's delete all this nonsense and let's really dissect it from a 4-hour perspective. What happened? We had a huge bearish leg, and I honestly don't know. Will we go lower? Yes or no? We are in an area of demand over here. Interesting, right? We had a huge bearish push demand. Now, price is slowing down. What does a trader wants to see from this demand? Just think like the others, think like other traders. They want to see a bullish break of structure to confirm price wants to go higher, right? That would be a confirmation for them. So this is what they want to see, bullish break of structure. Then they will look at areas like these, and probably lower time frame areas like these, for price to come in, bullish break of structure on the lower time frame, to go long, preferable somewhere where the Fibonacci tool is lining up, so somewhere here, for example, wait for a bullish break of structure and then to go long. So what I want to do is I want to buy into that liquidity, because we also have sellers come from these areas expecting the market to go lower. This is the whole thing with understanding where other participants are coming in, understanding what other traders are doing. And that's my vision for gold. Jumping it into an hourly time frame, this is where the potential trap is, in my opinion. But I have to say, I personally want to see a bearish break of structure over here and then look for confirmations to go long. And obviously, if we have broken this structure, yeah, there will be short opportunities as well, which can be very nice. So it's just waiting for price to develop a bit more. It's currently trapping in people. It's trapping in sellers. So we don't want to be selling with the rest. That's my opinion. Do whatever feels good to you, or whatever follows your strategy. I think that's more important than my opinion anyway. But yeah, I expect gold to push into these highs. Easy. And then potentially melt, or no. We can also see price being bullish again. Who knows? And especially with Trump now putting sanctions on major oil companies in Russia. Who knows what will be happening? Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to move this live stream to my VIP section, because I will do live trading with my VIP every single day. I think we will get that short. If you want to be part of the VIP, well, easy. There's a link down below, join through the Whop. There's a button if you join to connect to the Discord, where you get instant VIP access and can join all the live trading calls, which I'm doing with VIP. We were for 40 minutes on. Price is pretty slow. We probably have to wait a little bit longer to get to those entries. But I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for tuning in. And I will see you tomorrow on another live stream Tomorrow will be packed with news. As you can see, there's loads of high impacting news, but after 9:30 we can potentially look at trades on EU, because before I'm not going to enter. Later on 10:30 we have the pound. Not going to trade it, just risky, especially with the you can see US government data may be impacted by the shutdown. There's the government shutdown, meaning that data can be released later, and what I saw from yesterday's price action, that Geo reacted heavily on its news, while normally it's not that heavy, right? So yeah, we have to be aware. Right. Thank you all. I might see you in the VIP section. If not, I see you back tomorrow. Cheers.